Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our live broadcast for Saturday, March 21st. Thankfully, this morning we only have a few updates for you. I'd like to start out by thanking all of you for your support and your cooperation, the expressions of gratitude and everything. It really helps as we get through this to all of us. And we've shared them as a team, we share them. Everybody's getting all of your comments, and they're all greatly appreciated. Also, the questions and suggestions and friendly advice, it's all greatly appreciated. We've certainly got a number of suggestions that have helped us either fix process or refine process or identify an issue we didn't even know someone was having. So we do appreciate it very much. As a staff and as a team and as an organization, and hopefully you feel the same way as residents, we're doing pretty well. And we're going to get through this emergency stronger than ever. We're learning a lot about how we can work together and how, as a team, a staff team, I think we've probably come together in ways that we never would have had the chance to do. And so one way or the other, we'll come through this stronger than we've been. Now, with all that said, we are very short-staffed. We have a good number, and I don't know how many, but it's a fairly sizable number of staff that are unable to come to work because of quarantine issues. As you know, there's a lot of people who are in mandatory quarantine. Some were exposed here, others have other life situations that put them in quarantine, and so we're working very short, we're working very short. The staff that are here are working their tails off to keep up with a whole bunch of new things that we've never done before or never done the way we're doing them. But we are, for the most part, keeping up. This weekend, today and tomorrow, we are extremely short because people who were here all week need some rest. And so we have to run, we have to even have a thinner team. There'll be management here. There'll be enough staff here, but we need to let our staff get some rest. The healthcare team, the nurses and aides and dining staff and housekeepers that work in Parsons Health Center and assisted living have been working under tough conditions. I mean, there's a lot of stress. The facility is closed to outsiders, so it's this is an important time, and so there's a lot. We rely on them, and they're doing a great job. And I meet with that staff every day, and they're a skilled, competent, confident group, and they're doing a great job, and thankfully keeping residents in the health center well, and that's the best news that we could get. The dining I'm going to switch gears now, talk about the dining situation. Our new dining process, delivery process that most of you have participated in now is underway. We appreciate your patience with it. It is a brand new process. It's brand new to everyone. And this weekend, we're going to have fewer people available for deliveries. There will be some managers who don't work in dining that will be helping cover because we have to give that staff some time off. And so you may see managers that you know from other settings delivering your meals this weekend. Trash collection is another issue that we want to talk about. Housekeeping will be handling your trash the same. If you're, let me start over. For those of you that are not in mandatory quarantine, okay, if you haven't traveled, or you weren't at the Capitol steps, or for some other reason you haven't been told you're in quarantine, housekeeping will be handling trash the same way we always do, which is they'll pick it up on your normal day, or you can take it to the trash chute on your floor. If you are in mandatory 14-day quarantine, we are going to provide a process for you on Monday, and we'll share it at our Monday update, which we will come to you and we will pick up your trash and we'll dispose of it in a safe manner. So for those of you in mandatory quarantine, just hold your trash for the weekend and we'll get with you early next week and we will handle that on a case-by-case basis, but we'll come to your apartment. The next thing I want to share with you is we are going to begin to allow some of the construction teams on the outside work, that is landscapers and work at the chapel, spiritual center, that work will begin back up on Monday. Those staff, those contractors will not be allowed in the building. They will strictly be outside, and they're going to be under strict orders to not be near residents, meaning the landscape staff won't engage with any resident who might be out stretching their legs, and they will keep their distance. And I would ask that you not engage anybody like that, even regular staff. Just keep your distance. And then for the spiritual center, we're going to ask that those construction workers stay inside the fence, and that we're going to keep that fence secure. So we won't have anybody in the building who doesn't belong in the building. We're also going to try to wrap up the west tower entrance, getting the concrete paver work finished. So that area will also be secured, and there'll be a buffer between where the workers are and where residents might be. But what I would ask is that you as a resident just stay away from anybody who's doing construction work. You need to assume they haven't been, they're not allowed in the building, so stay away from them. And then the last thing I'm going to say before I turn it over to Deborah is that we will not be providing an update this afternoon. That is no live update Saturday afternoon, and no live update at all on Sunday. With that said, I'd ask you to keep watching TV 971 or the Touchdown community apps for notifications. If there's a reason that we need to do another broadcast, we'll put it on there as soon as we know that, of what time and which day that'll happen. But our plan, if all goes well, we're not going to do another broadcast this weekend. We will be back Monday with our regular updates, and we'll keep doing that for the time being. So if there's a change, look for it either on Touchdown or on TV 971, but otherwise expect no update until Monday at 9. With that, I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to wish you a happy weekend. I hope quarantine isn't too bad for you. It will be for the rest of us at home. So I'm going to turn it over to Deborah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so disappointed to have to tell you that I don't have any update on the mail for you today. I will tell you at 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, Russell received a message from the person that he's been working with saying they did not work through all the details and they would have to get back with him on Monday. For that, I apologize. We're doing everything on our end that we can do, and I do believe others are trying to help us, but it is not just Westminster Canterbury. This is happening to other apartment complexes and other facilities throughout the United States. I do want to let you know that if the blue mailboxes that are outside the U.S. mailboxes, when you put mail in those boxes, it is being picked up on a daily basis, so please continue to do that. If you are quarantined and you can't come out of your apartment, if you call 6082 Resident Services, throughout the week we have been coming by your apartment and putting mail in the boxes for you, and we'll continue to do that next week, Monday through Friday. So we'll keep you informed. I hope at least by the afternoon on Monday, I'll have some more updates on you about the mail. We're needing to make some adjustments to our grocery store shopping. On Friday, I told you how great it was when your family and friends dropped off groceries at the vacant lot, Azalea, right next to the courtyard, and all those packages and bags, everything was delivered to you. It was a lot, and the families and the friends that dropped things off were so grateful. I'm going to encourage you to continue talking with your friends and your family and have them go by and pick up some things for you to take a little bit of the load off the grocery shopping that the transportation department has been doing for you. On Friday, in addition to the family drop-off, we had 30 orders of groceries that had to be filled, and it took longer than the usual grocery store shuttle, and our drivers really need to be available to you for the medical appointments. So we are going to at least cut off no more than 20 of the orders each day, and we're going to try to do everything possible to get what you need for yourself. But we also ask you to keep the orders small. Please don't order every single day, because if we can just cut it down a bit, serve more people, I believe you'll all be more satisfied with that. And our drivers will be back on the road taking residents to medical appointments. The only other thing I have for you today is we've had several residents call us about the brown bags that the meals are being delivered in. Many of you are putting them on your door, hoping that we can reuse them. Unfortunately, that is not something we can do. We cannot reuse them because of health department issues. But keep them, stockpile them, and we'll find a way to recycle them after we're all through with all of this. Again, I hope you have a great weekend, and thank you so much. And I'm going to turn it over to Lynn for closing.
Good morning, everyone. In many different religious traditions, there are periods of time that we mark off and observe, times for self-reflection and penitence. And for Christians, that time is right now. It's the season of Lent. Lent is a period of 40 days that Christians observe every year, beginning in late February or March, beginning with Ash Wednesday until Easter Sunday, when we celebrate the glorious resurrection of Jesus Christ. The 6 weeks of Lent is traditionally a time where we're called to prayer, self-reflection, fasting, and penitence. As the world has become more secularized, many have softened the meaning of Lent. We may jokingly say, I'll give up chocolate for Lent, or I'll give up my 5 o'clock wine for Lent, or I won't drink soda or eat meat for Lent, or I'll get off Facebook for 40 days for Lent. But I think we can all agree that this Lent, Lent 2020, is a Lent like no other. We are giving up a lot more than chocolate. And the hard part about this Lent is we didn't get to choose what we gave up. This Lent, we are forced to rearrange our lives in uncomfortable and extremely challenging ways. This will be a Lent that we will always remember. It may be that this Lent we experience more deeply than ever the journey that Jesus Christ traveled. We will follow along perhaps more closely the sufferings of Jesus. We will follow that path that God had laid out for him, and it was not an easy path. He began his journey in the wilderness. That's where we get the 40 days. Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days, and we remember that the Israelites were in the desert for 40 years. Now, I dare say that this situation will be resolved before 40 years. But try and turn around what you are giving up to the true purpose of what Lent really is. To see it as a time where you can rely on God and intentionally get closer to God, and to be aware of your need for God. Rather than feeling perhaps like a victim, try and turn around what you see as a difficult situation to having an inner freedom to be able to handle this crisis by relaxing into God's hands. Lent 2020 will definitely go down in the history books for the Christian community around the world. What Lent 2020 is for you is in your hands with God's help. One quick word I want to say about the Living into Lent calendar that we had provided. It's also available digitally on Touchtown. If you've looked at it very closely, you can see that there are some suggestions there that are no longer possible, such as visit a friend on another part of campus. That is no longer obviously appropriate. So we have already updated the Lenten calendar on Touchtown and on TV 970 So we are making reprints of the paper copy. If you would like a reprint, please call Chaplain David Curtis at 5179. Leave a message, and we will make sure that you get a printed copy. And now, if you like, please join me in prayer. This is a prayer written by Cameron Wiggins-Baum, actually given to me by a resident. The title is Prayer for a Pandemic. May we who are merely inconvenienced remember those whose lives are at stake. May we who have no risk factors remember those most vulnerable. May those who have the luxury of working from home remember those who must choose between preserving their health or making their rent. May those who have the flexibility to care for our children when schools close remember those who have no options. May we who have to cancel a trip remember those who have no safe place to go. May we who are losing our margin money in the tumult of the economic market remember those who have no margin at all. May those who settle for quarantine at home remember those who have no home. As fear grips our country, let us choose love during this time when we cannot physically wrap our arms around each other. Let us find ways to be the loving embrace of God and our neighbor. Amen. We hope you'll join us Monday at 10 o'clock unless there is a need for an earlier update. Be well and God bless.